Media team, can you please resend the link to Alder McKinney?
Yep, I'll do that right now.
Thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon. Today is June 18, 2024, and I will call to order the Madison Common Council Executive Committee meeting. Staff, please call the roll. President Figueroa Cole. Here. Vice President Duncan.
Here.
Alder Govindarajan. Alder Conklin.
Present.
Alder Martinez Rutherford. Alder Uguerre. Here. Alder Harrington McKinney. Alder Curry. You have quorum. Thank you. So first item on the agenda is the approval of the last meeting minutes. Can I please get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Thank you. Do we have any changes to make to the agenda? To the minutes? I don't see any hands.
With that, I will assume a unanimous vote on adopting the agenda. So do we have any public comment?
I'm gonna check one more time. One moment, just make sure. We do not.
Okay, no public comment, then we'll move to disclosures and recusals. Members of the body should make any required disclosures or recusals under the city ethics codes. Are there any disclosures or recusals? I don't see any hands, so we can move on. The first item on the agenda is item 83546, adopting the 2025 Common Council meeting dates. So I don't know if anyone, I'm sorry, do I get a motion, please?
Motion to adopt.
Can I get a second? Thank you. Any discussion on the item? So these are the dates from the meeting schedule for 2025. And
Just point out that that's
yeah, this one will be very short. As,
But this is Friday.
Yeah.
The 4th is a Friday, this is a Tuesday, so I didn't
Yep,
make
that's
it
fine.
virtual.
So as usual, you had the room locations and the time. If there is any, any changes in the future that this is the default setup. If any other changes can be made during the year, but this is the current schedule. So unless do I have any questions here? Yeah. Alder Conklin?
Thank you, President. I did have just one clarification, and I think you were kind of hitting on it, but all of them say in person or at the city county building, and then there's only one that says virtual. So are the rest of them, do we still have the hybrid option is my question.
That's a good question. I think the room and location is the default value, but
They're all hybrid except
but
for
they,
July 1st.
they're all hybrid except for, we should probably make that a little bit more
I'm gonna check
clear.
on the resolution, make sure it's.
Yeah, we are going to check on the resolution to make sure it's clear, but the default value is usually the in-person option. But definitely, this will be hybrid meetings for the most part. And again, we can always change as we go along. But we'll check before we get to before this gets referred to council to ensure that that is clear.
Okay, so right, for the most part, we're supposed to be in person, but the hybrid online option is still available.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Thank you for pointing that out. Any other questions? Okay, I don't see anybody on the queue. So we'll move on to the next, let's take a vote to pass the recommendation. If I don't see any objection, we will record a unanimous vote on that one.
Did you have a motion or just?
Yeah, we had a motion. Yeah, in a second. Okay. So the third item on the list is item 83517, the Alder Budget Engagement Events. Do I get a motion, please?
Motion to accept or adopt.
You don't need a motion,
Well,
just discuss.
okay, so
So you're good.
okay, so this is the one about, Karen, you're gonna give us an update on this?
Yes.
Please, go ahead.
I'm just working on one technical issue. All right, sorry about that. I'm trying to work out something technical. I also have Isaac Matthias here with me virtually, our legislative analyst, to help talk a little bit about the process when we get to that point. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see what happens. Oh, good. Okay. And hold on. Slideshow. From beginning. Okay. All right.
Ooh, Chair, quick thing. I see this as 2025 budget. Should it say 25 or 24? I'm sorry.
It would be, the budget engagement was for next year's budget, 2025.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
All right, so this is going to give you a bit of an overview of the preliminary data that we have had a chance, we've collected and had a chance to put into some summaries. So a lot of this is real self-explanatory, and I also sent on email in case you want to follow along. It's also in Legistar. But you can see event attendance. You can see by districts. So this, one caveat, the attendance numbers are based on the sign-ins, and at the central event, it was based on if anyone also threw their district into the chat. So it's a partial count. You'll see there's an unknown category there. Those are the folks who we weren't able to identify a district for, or perhaps lived outside of the city limits. So this gives you a sense of who all came to our events. Here are some numbers on the total number of questions and comments we received. This is the note cards question and comments. And I am working with finance to continue to answer individually and to anybody's questions who provided us with an email address. We got through the East Side group, but then we have quite a number of them to keep working through. So I'll be doing that with finance, while Isaac and Hannah, our summer intern, will be analyzing the data. And here, so speaking of analyzing, Isaac put together a few general preliminary categories to help us sort through what are some of the themes in the cards. And so you can see here by theme and then by event. So you can kind of see what themes were popular at which events. So I think it's quite interesting. Yeah. So he is going to be, he'll in a minute, I'll ask him to talk a little bit more about the process to break things down more and provide some reporting, because this is really just preliminary. So we're planning on getting you more information. All right. And here are the basic numbers of questions, answers to the questions that we asked, again, by group. So again, these are very preliminary. This is just the beginning of our process, just to give you a sense of, we were able to collect quite a bit of information, which is great. So Isaac will be working overtime. No, he'll be this is going to be his project. So I wanted to hand it over to Isaac to have him talk a little bit about the process of analysis. And then if you have any questions about the data we have so far or anything like that one of us can help you with, we're happy to ask.
Sounds good. I don't know
Yeah.
where Isaac is on the.
I'm online. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And as Karen said, a lot of this data is rather preliminary. We have so far been able to do a lot of the total number counts, which you saw in the graph, and have also been able to sort through the note card question and answer. These, I was able to put them into about 10 rough topics, but as you could see in the graph, there are some of the general categories that had much higher numbers than the others. One example would be
Sorry.
the general.
I'm sorry, Isaac, can you hold on for a second? Are we
Yeah.
sharing something? Are we sharing a screen? No? I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, okay. And you could see that there's some numbers that were much larger than others. One example would be like the government accountability / staff area, where we received a lot of different questions or comments that kind of worked within that one category, but it could be further broken down. And so when we do our eventual kind of larger report on this, we'll have these kind of top line numbers, but be able to dive a little bit further in. So in that, there could be subcategories like lots of questions about if we do independent audits, or questions about staff pay and raises and things of that nature. Additionally, we have started to work on, Hannah, especially our intern for the summer, has really started to work on categorizing a lot of the small group discussion questions that we've got. Obviously, we asked people to kind of answer 5 different questions at all these meetings on these big, large white sheets of paper. I was able to transcribe all of these and put them into Excel spreadsheets. And right now, we are going through them and trying to put them in as many categories as we can. So far, Hannah has started to work on kind of the last question, which was, now that you have this information, what do you want your alder to know as they work to balance the 2025 budget? And we've been working on creating a couple different categories in which we can analyze this, whether it be specific topics. So like if they're referencing something about libraries or parks or things like that, kind of topic areas, but also this was a question where we saw people give their opinions on if they're for a referendum, against a referendum, for new fees or against new fees, things of that nature. And so finding different ways to categorize the responses we get, since it wasn't like a direct survey where we asked people to check a box and have a direct number. So it's fitting what these people said that really differ from one person to another into kind of categories. And so we're doing that for all 5 questions. It's rather tedious work, but hopefully it results in something that's valuable. And ultimately, we have lots of really good information. We have hundreds and hundreds of responses across the 5 events. And so we'll be working on this in the coming weeks, and hope to have some further data and further kind of writing and conclusions based on what we find. So happy to answer any questions.
Is there any questions from the body for Isaac? Alder Ugeri?
Yeah. I noticed at the West Area meeting that even after it was explained several times, there was a lot of confusion about the connection between the capital budget and the operating budget. Did you see that in other area presentations as well?
Yeah, we did. Forget if, Karen, do you have the presentation still pulled up by any chance? If not, no worries. But one of the largest areas in which we saw questions, I don't know if you can go to the questions. Yeah. And so as you can see, it looks like on the capital budget / one-times fund question and comments category, it does look like the West Side had the largest amount of questions. They also, this is pure number, not proportion. There's the most amount of questions at the West Side one. I would guess it was rather proportional across all 5 engagement events. Lots of people had questions about the capital budget, whether it be references to BRT or the waterfront project, or other one-time funds. Lots of questions and confusion between the capital and operating budget.
Good question.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so that's a presentation. We don't need a vote for that. Perfect. So then the next agenda item is item number 4, Alder Committee updates. Again, this category sitting there is going to be continue to sit there for alders of the committee or guests, doesn't have to be just members, that want to share what is coming up on their committees in the future. We're not to discuss the items because that's not allowed, but just to warn the public and your fellow alders of anything of importance. So I don't know if anyone wants to share. I can share one item and move on. Do you have anything? No? Okay. And we have Alder McKinney. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I finally got connected. I have, as we all have been getting a lot of correspondence on the property that's over in my colleague's district, that is District 19. Could you kind of update us and kind of prepare us for the questions that have been coming to us about the Stone House development that's over in your district?
I don't
Is that
think
clear?
we can discuss. Yeah, we that's an item in the next agenda for the Common Council, and that will be discussed on that agenda item with the whole committee. We can really discuss items here that are not referred to us. Attorney Haas is here and he can answer. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm sure.
No, I'm correcting myself. I just realized that I was water. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. So one item that I've been following on is it's not on the paper, is the sustainability plan update. I think was in transportation this week or last week, and it's heading now to Plan Commission on July 8th, Economic Development on July 17, and Sustainable Madison on 7/22, and coming back to Common Council on August 6th. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because it's a big report, and I think we all can benefit of having the committees discuss it. I mean, we can all read it too, if you had time, but it would be probably wise to just go to one of the committees or to watch the Transportation Committee and listen to the discussion. That's Legislative Item 83420, adopting the Sustainability Plan update and directing staff to implement the recommendations in the plan. But that's kind of one that stands up. If you want to see specific projects for development, open the last week's Plan Commission's agenda, and you'll see anything that is coming up there, which is a large list. Okay. Anybody else wants to share anything from your committees? I don't see any. Alder Martinez.
I was just going to make a comment in reference to the sustainability plan. I do suggest that people at least scan through it in regards to what their committee assignments are, because it can be very beneficial, as well as there's a lot of really good guidance for the future that you can kind of perceive pretty immediately and easily. So
Thank you.
that was all. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, with that said, we'll move to agenda item 5, 81382, council office updates. Karen, take it away.
All right, so, and this has been emailed out and also is on your desks if you will be here in person. Of course, we have our out of office information. Couple reminders, you may have noticed me attempting a quorum check for the 7/2 council meeting. If you haven't, let me know your potential or likely status. Go ahead and let me know. But I would like to just flag that it is virtual. The CCC and council meetings will both be virtual for 7/2. Some folks have asked me why, and one of the reasons is because when we made the when we put together the schedule for, we do it last year for this year as we were just doing, one of the things we wanted to do, well, we did a number of things, but one of the things we were trying to do was think about making things more accessible around holidays. So, for example, we know that the 4th is 2 days from the 2nd. It's a Thursday. It's really hard to know whether people will try to take a long weekend on the back end, on the, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or if they were going to do something before it. So we thought that the best thing would be to propose virtual, and that way everyone can still participate, even folks can call in. public members of the public can call in, et cetera, so that it's available. So, and I want everybody, while I've got the floor on this one, I'd like to remind everybody that every council agenda has a list of the next few upcoming council meetings, both the date and the location. And so I'm going to reaffirm too what we said about the previous one, which is that the default location is hybrid. And then if there's a virtual default, it's going to be listed there. And it will only be because, for example, it's the day before Thanksgiving or 2 days before Thanksgiving or something along those lines where we feel like it's going to give everyone a little bit of extra flexibility so they can still attend. But I want everybody to pay attention to that because I know sometimes we get some questions like, what is this meeting hybrid or when is the meeting? And I just want you to know that it is on there and you can make changes to it per ordinance. Attorney Haas can correct me. I believe you can change it to virtual 1 meeting in advance and out of virtual 2 meetings in advance. And then we always have a weather, like an emergency situation where, for example, we get a blizzard and we have to switch it to virtual or something to that effect. So please, if you have opinions on that type of thing, you have an opportunity at every council meeting to take some action. You can exclude it and make changes to it, put it to a vote. So I just wanted to highlight that feature since I think sometimes, we're not used to necessarily doing it that way. All right. I also provided something to you all. Those of you who are in person will find a piece of paper on their desks that it basically, it just says like, I would like to be added as a sponsor to and then you just fill out all the items. You fill out your name and you fill out all the items that you'd like to be added as a sponsor to. And you can physically, if you're physically in the room, you can physically just hand that to me or the clerk on duty. And that takes care of that really easily. You can always email as well. And I will absolutely get things where they need to go. The idea here is that we're trying to, have the meeting go real smoothly. So being able to do this kind of offline, but at the same time, like during the meeting is we're just trying to make it easier for you. So hopefully you'll find that useful. You can always still email me and I will make sure it gets where it needs to go, but this is just an additional tool for you. And then another reminder as folks are traveling that if you do plan to go out of the country, put in, let me know, or you can also put in your own IT ticket. They want a lot of weeks in advance. I don't remember what it is, 6, 3, 4. So if you see it at all coming, and you're going to be out of the country, let's get that ticket in so that you'll be able to access your city.
If you want to.
If you want to. So yeah.
If you want to.
If you want to be able to access your city stuff outside of the country. And then I want to draw your attention to a couple of things coming up. So obviously we're working on the budget events analysis, and we'll be giving you updates, and also you're going to get a report. That's not going to be what we showed was not the end. Again, I just want to, but I began working on our council office budget request submission, and so I'd like to have a couple conversations with CCEC about that in July. So please, everyone within the sound of my voice, please come to CCEC on those dates to help participate in that conversation because I think that everyone will have opinions and I want to hear them. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Alder Harrington McKinney, you have a question?
Yes, I do. This is a clarifying question specifically. Wednesday is Juneteenth, which is a national holiday. Is there a committees, boards, committees, or commissions that are scheduled for that day? What is the procedure? Do they hold those meetings? Are they canceled? Or I just need some direction.
That's a great question. The city's closed that day. So if somebody scheduled a committee meeting for that day, I'm looking here to see if we have anything. They would have to cancel, but I don't see anything on the schedule, so it looks like folks did it appropriately. Is there some, just let me know if there's one.
There's no meeting.
It's 5 o'clock.
What was that?
I don't know who spoke. Yeah, so based on the calendar, there's no June 19 meeting schedule, and the process is there's an ordinance out there that the council approved that includes the holidays that the city, not necessarily that the city is closed, but the ordinance is specifically to direct the committees not to schedule meetings on those holidays.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I need to go back and erase and apply my calendar, because it does show up on my calendar that there is a transportation meeting on Wednesday. So I thought as much, but I just wanted to make sure that I clarified that. And so that must be just something that's a glitch in my calendar that I'm having problems with.
Yeah, it could be there. I have some meetings in my calendar for the older transportation committee, the one that we got rid of at the end of the year for whatever reason. Sometimes it pops up in there, but yes, and at the moment for June, the meetings are June 12 and June 26 for transportation. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions? Alrighty then. So then I think that's all for our agenda today. If you got, the next item in the agenda is item 7, future agenda items that you can either bring up today, or you can just email Karen and I, just email us and we will evaluate to put them on the agenda or do the research that we need to do. So if you have that information provided now, if not, just go ahead and send it to us via email. Alder Harrington McKinney, you have another question? No? Already, perfect. So anybody with any new agenda items? Okay, I don't see anyone on the queue. So the last item on the agenda is the adjournment. This is a short meeting. We have a long meeting coming up tonight, so thank you all for being here. I guess I'll see you in a little bit. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second by MGR. Yep. Thank you. That's it. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we take a vote for, is there any objection to record unanimous vote for adjournment? No objection. Thank you so much.
No objection.
Okay, so we adjourn. Thanks.
All right. That was fast.
Okay.